Good afternoon, guys. We're going to give everybody about 1 more minute to join us, and then we will get started. So we'll give everybody 1 more minute to get ready. All right, we want to welcome you guys today to this meeting for New to North staff and some of our mentoring folks. I'm Amanda Dvorak. For those of you who are new, I'm one of the instructional coaches. Tia Wilson is here as well. I think she'll turn her camera on maybe. All right, I just don't get to see you apparently. And she is our other instructional coach, and we've put together an experience with you guys today. Our opener is going to be around joy, and the reason we asked you to think about something that brings you joy is because we want to honor that mindset today. A lot of us went into teaching because there are aspects of it that do bring us joy, and we're able to bring ourselves into this space. We are going to have some conversations today about who we are and who we want to be. And we want to honor the fact that our current reality, sometimes those things are not in alignment. Some of you may have some anger, some pain, even grief at your current situation. You know, you had hopes and dreams for what this year was going to be, especially our first year folks. I don't know how long you have been thinking about being a teacher, but I'm sure that there was a whole different classroom that you had in your head than what you have actually experienced this first term, and we want to honor that. And I want you to think about those feelings, and I know that this has not been the year that you had hoped and dreamed about, but we also want to take some time today and talk about and honor the teacher that you're striving to become. And so for our opener, what I'd like you to do is if you can find a GIF, drop it in the chat of something in your life that brings you joy. I'm going to give us a minute or two. So something in your life that brings you joy. Personally, gifts actually in and of themselves bring me joy. Oh, donuts. Tia loves all the carbs. Sleeping. Miss Klein, is that melting snow or actually building snowmen? Oh, ice cream. Definitely a piece of my heart. Okay. The cats? Kate? Cats?
That's fulfilling the stereotype. I'm okay with that.
Okay, just checking. New snow. Gotcha. Oh, man. Corey, is that actual home footage?
It might be.
Right. These things are pretty awesome. I appreciate you all and your appropriate gifts. Ooh, Angie. Is it the costume or the actual sun? One of the things that brings me joy is unnecessary humor in most situations. It's kind of my thing. All right, so before we get started with our learning target, I do want to introduce somebody who is actually brand new to us, and I was not aware that she was coming, and she's probably not really excited about me putting her on the spot. But Tierney, if you can say hello and let everybody know what you get to do in the next coming semester, that would be awesome.
Sorry, new to meets. I'm Tierney Koki, and I just got hired to be the industrial tech teacher. So teaching some woods, hopefully in March when my long-term sub position ends at Southeast Polk.
Awesome. We are very excited to have you. Thank you for joining us today, too. We really appreciate it. We're glad to have a polar bear down in the wood shop. It will be quite an interesting experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. So our learning target today, Tia is probably sitting in the background saying, hurry up, is to make connections between our own personal behaviors, beliefs, and being and those of North High School. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a polar bear today. Tia is going to get us started with an activity.
So we are going to start today with the Jamboard activity. If you have not used Jamboard before, it's a great way to include student voice and processing time into a learning experience. So you should be able to click on your screen right here in our Teams meeting, which will take you directly to the Jamboard link. Once you click and get into, oh, Amanda dropped it in the chat as well. Once you click the link and you get into the Jamboard, you are going to see 6 pages. For now, in the next 5 minutes, we only want you to answer the prompts on slides 1 through 3. As you answer each prompt, we also are going to ask that you color code. I'm a color coder. So new teachers, if you can just change your sticky notes to green. New to North, any of your comments or additions, if you can make those pink. And then our mentors, if you can make yours blue. And there are 3 different prompts. And so we are just going to give you about 5 minutes. Think about those prompts and answer those questions. Is there anybody who is not able to get to the Jamboard? We wanted to be intentional in our timing and allow you time to process what your peers and colleagues have written down as well. So if you could take just 2 to 3 minutes, read through all of the comments and start to process those responses and look for trends or themes that you see emerging across those 3 separate slides, across all 3 of the colors. That's to individually process. We are going to send you to breakout rooms. These breakout rooms are going to be triads. Each breakout will have, should have, if it worked out right, a mentor, a new teacher, and a new to North staff member. So we're trying to allow you guys to have conversations that give you different perspectives. So in the next 10 minutes, we want you to reflect on our learning target and analyze themes across the prompts and colors, kind of like I just had you do individually. Keeping in mind that our learning target is we are trying to make connections or build connections between our personal behaviors, beliefs, and being and those of North High School. So as you have this conversation in your triads, you'll notice back on the Jamboard, there was a slide, I think it's 5 and 6, that asked the 2 prompts. So just as a whole triad, if you guys can put a sticky note on each of those, and then we will be coming back to a large group to do some sharing of that information.
And just so you all know, the triad plan didn't just come to fruition based on who was able to be here today. So the groups are, everybody's got those 3 members in there, but it's just not perfect groups of 3. So
thank you, Kate. Okay, so Kate is going to, if there's any questions, I can ask them now. Otherwise, Kate's going to hit the magical button that sends you to where you're going, and then we will call you back in 10 minutes.
Hey, look, we're back.
It's like, hey, good thing we brought Brandon back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Dawn, you're home.
I am home and the dog has been out.
All right.
You
Side
guys
note,
don't
that
mess
was
around with
cool.
that 10 seconds.
I know.
All right. If we could have, would anybody like to volunteer their themes to share out with their voice?
I think that the kids and the teachers all like to be back together in real person, and that just brings everybody a lot more happiness than being, not everybody can, but it's enjoyable to actually interact together again.
Yes.
Thank you, Heidi. Would anyone else like to share? All right. Well, I have terrible wait time, so I am going to adjust. So the purpose in this is to start to discuss and identify who we are. One of the things that we will talk about as we move forward is your being, your beliefs, and your behaviors. And we wanted to give and honor each of these parts of you. We also are aware that you have probably not seen this graphic before. And so your behaviors are what you do. It's something that can be captured on a video. Your beliefs are the decisions you make, the assumptions, conclusions. They can even be our biases that we bring to situations, but they're all based on what we know and what we've experienced. So our behaviors emerge from those beliefs. And then at the core is our being. And our being is who we are, but it's also how we show up, and it's how others experience us. My best example for myself is one of my behaviors is that I tell a lot of stories or jokes to lighten the mood. Not necessarily at inappropriate times, but not always at the most convenient times. And I'm a little bit of a railroader in that situation. But that is because one of my core beliefs is that humor is a connecting agent and it is used to build relationships. In my time in the classroom, I told a whole lot of stories. In my time as an instructional coach, it's very well known by one of my partners in crime, Mr. Luke, that I have a tendency to ramble on like this and tell really great stories and be a really great orator as I get more and more awkward and uncomfortable. And that is because I believe that humor can find a connection between all of us. And also because it's part of my being. It's how others experience me. It's how I show up. Humor is my coping mechanism for uncomfortable and awkward silence. And it's really all I have going for me, to be quite honest with you. And so I've already inserted 3 or 4 different jokes in here, and it works really well in a library full of staff. It's lost a lot in this modality, but I'm still going to keep trying because it's who I am and it's my being. And so that's what we really wanted to get at today is those things that bring you joy are who you are. Those are your being. And right now we're in this situation. We've been forced into this situation where those may not all be in alignment. We don't believe in a lot of cases that this is the best modality for students to learn in, but we're trying and our behaviors are following along with what we're being forced into. And so we're going to spend a lot of time over the next couple of months trying to figure out how to get back into alignment. So to go through our learning target, we are talking about how to make those connections between who you are as a teacher or who you're working to become as a teacher and what it means to be a polar bear. And we've asked Mr. Shapaw to talk about what it means to be a polar bear because he has been a polar bear in so many different facets. He is an alumni. He has had the opportunity to work in other buildings as well and then has come back to us. And so we're going to give him a couple of minutes to talk about that.
Thanks, Amanda and Tia. I'm excited to
take an opportunity to reflect on what it means to be a polar bear. And being a polar bear is really near and dear to my heart. A lot of people don't know, but my family went through a lot of turmoil when I was a student at North High School. My mom is an alcoholic, and I love her dearly. And she has sacrificed so much for me and my life and has opened up so many doors for me. But that addiction that she deals with still to this day was really, really bad when I was in high school. My dad was working nights. My mom was drinking, and I didn't want to be home. I didn't feel happy there. I didn't feel certain about what every day was going to bring. And so I avoided home as much as humanly possible. And I was often the first one in the building. And I got to know the night custodians, Howard Wood, Sue. I got to know them really well because I didn't want to leave. And I was able to find ways to keep busy and stay in the school as much as possible. North was a safe place for me. North was a place where I felt connected. I felt supported. I felt valued. And I found so many things about myself at North High School, both in the hallways and classrooms and activities, newspaper, speech and debate, student government, theater. I did football, wrestling. Wrestling was really short-lived because I broke my knee at the first meet. But I was here as much as I could possibly be here because I felt incredibly safe and comforted and valued and loved at North High School. And so even when I moved to Florida, I wanted to stay involved in North High School. I bought a subscription to the Oracle. I donated to alumni things. I stayed in contact with teachers that I was connected with. And then when I moved back, I helped start the speech and debate team up again. It had gone away for like a decade, and I thought that was not cool. And Ben helped me get it going. And I was asked to help with the gala, and that kind of took on a life of its own. And then I realized I wanted to be back in schools. And at first, the district sent me to East, and I was really surprised by that. Like North had an opening, and I just assumed I would be at North. And it was probably a blessing that I could learn how to be a DMPS person, not at North. But now I'm back at North. And so all throughout my life since ninth grade, I've been connected to North in different ways. And certainly the last 2 years, being back in this capacity has reminded me why I love North. Because we love kids. We love students. We will do anything we can to make a student safe, secure, happy, and we try to make this a home for everybody that comes here. And that's what it means to me when I think about being a polar bear. We definitely we provide wraparound services to all the students who come to North, and I think that's such an important part of who North is and continues to be. That hasn't changed. When I was a student at North, Dr. Roberts would do anything she could for a student that she if she knew a need existed, she worked to fill it, right? If a teacher knew a need existed, they worked to fill it. And that continues to be true. And what's really exciting about now at North is that we're not just thinking about that in terms of basic needs and safety and comfort, which at the bottom of the Maslow's pyramid, that's what's got to come first. That foundation has always been there. We're thinking bigger now. And I'm excited that we're going to take that expectation that's been at North since I was a ninth grader of wrapping students with support and love and have those empathetic expectations for our academic needs in the building. To have those empathetic expectations and really raise the level of what we're looking for a student to be able to do when they leave North High School. And I am so grateful for this group of new teachers and the role that you're going to play in helping us get to our destination of excellence, not just socially and emotionally for our students, but also academically. And we're on the cusp of that. And we're really going to do some great work over the next few months here at North High School, and I'm glad for you to be a part of that and into the future. I hope that answered your question, and I hope I didn't talk too long, and I'll turn it over to Tia now.
Thanks, Steve. As you listen to Steve talk about what it means to him to be a polar bear and how it felt as a student, his vision for our staff, we're now going to take time to reflect on our initial thoughts, the very first Jamboard that we did. Take that plus the conversations that you had in your triads, and we are going to work on continuing to build our teacher identities. So with that being said, we are going to divide into breakout rooms again. We will be in 3 different groups this time. They will be facilitated by 3 different people, so don't worry about like what prompts or things like that you need to know. But Kate is going to send us into those groups, and I will be facilitating the new teacher group. Amanda will be facilitating the New to North group, and Steve will be facilitating the mentor group. So Kate, when you are ready.
You should be disappearing soon into the wilderness of your breakout room. Have a great 10 minutes, and I'll bring you back after that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
One of the things that we are going to try to be very intentional about over the next semester is when we do provide PD to talk about the strategies that we used today and what you experienced. Obviously, we did the breakout rooms. We did a Jamboard, so these are all strategies you can take back with you. And we provided multiple opportunities to reflect on the learning target. That is a technical piece that we are going to touch on next time. Next time we have an opportunity to get together. Today was a lot about your identity as a teacher and the identity of what it means to be a polar bear and what it means to be a teacher in this building. And we know that there are still technical aspects that you really want, and we are very focused on that. We want to honor your time today, and we want to thank you for that, and we appreciate you giving us your time. We're going to Tia just dropped a feedback form into the chat. There are a couple of reflective questions on there, as well as just feedback to Tia and I on things that helped you or things that we could do better moving forward to provide professional development. And then please check your calendars. Our next scheduled meeting will be February 18th. We would like to come back with this group again on February 18th. We do want to be aware, though, like we did not know that first year teachers had a district meeting yesterday. So we did not mean to double book you back to back. So if you are looking at your calendars and you're like, hey, there's this first year teacher meeting again, or on the day before or within that, please let us know, because we really are not trying to, we're not trying to kill you with meetings. So with that, please do the feedback form. And if you have any questions, let Tia or I know. If you do need help with those technical things, send one of us an email. You can use our bookings link as well. But we are happy and we are here to support you. Thank you.